Well, welcome back to the Lucid SMP, and also welcome to a spot that I don't think I have actually shown before. So what you saw at the beginning of today's episode is actually kind of a culmination of like, I don't know, probably like a multiple different days, basically spanning over a month, of what I've been doing underneath the first of the towers. Hold on, we need to take care of this really quick. As I was saying, underneath the first of the towers. So I have this bubble elevator that takes us all the way down here. Oh my goodness. Hopefully that's our last interruption. So I have a bubble elevator that takes us all the way down into the caves. Well, really more of a mine, but I do have a little staircase that goes up out into a cave over there. And I've just taken a lot of time to mine up a lot of it. And I really like these like pillars, and I kind of plan on maybe raising the ceiling. I don't know. I kind of like how it looks. And as you can see, I've started it over here, and I've also started it along this wall over there. But yeah, I figured it was time I showed you where I get all of my resources and stuff for the most part, because I used up so many diamonds in the last episode when we did all of the netherite templates, which is fine. That's great. We've got a ton of them. But I needed to restock. So on that note, in this shulker box right here, we will place this down. You will see my profits from just this. There's actually a bunch more in the redstone box over here. A bunch of these redstone blocks are also from this, but I had just already put them away. Yeah, we're looking really good on we're looking really good on diamonds again. I mean, obviously, always space for more diamonds. We got a little bit more iron, a ton more gold, and some lapis. So what we can actually do while we are taking a look at all this is get all of these merged up. Literally, I had no diamonds left and no gold. So nice to have all of this actually be able to go into my inventory and be safely stored here forever now. So with that done, we've got all of our ores put away. I can get rid of this extra shulker box. And actually, speaking of extra shulker boxes, you might have seen it when I opened this earlier, but I did also take some time to go and buy a ton of extra shulker boxes, which ran me down basically out of diamonds, which is why I decided I needed to get a ton of diamonds. So we now actually have a ton of shulker boxes as well, which will be great for storage and organizing. And I actually did some organizing back up top. So if we just want to take a little flight up our bubble elevator, which is really sweet. There's also like, there's a cool window down there that looks into the cave, and yeah, obviously this just goes straight up here to our portal and everything. But if we take a flight on over to our storage room, boom, you'll see that I have started using some of the shulker boxes to start organizing just some of the blocks that we have an absolute ton of, so that we're not using up so much space with those blocks. So even the stone, we've got some in a shulker box, obviously the cobble deep slate, a ton, normal deep slate, we've got some too. So nice to see. I actually think, did I leave any? I thought maybe we had some extra ores and things in here as well, but that's what I've been up to, and that is my explanation of the thing that was at the very beginning of today's episode. But now on to the meat of today's episode, which is, I really want to start work on a game. You know, being here on an SMP and, you know, having the opportunity to do things with other people, you know, I want to either contribute, you know, obviously a game or a store or something like that. And in time, I want to, you know, be sure to do all of that, but we got to start somewhere. And I think starting with a fun little game might be the way to do it. And I'm not going to tell you what the game is yet. We're going to need to collect some materials for said game. But the first of the materials is a ton of tridents, and I don't particularly want to build a trident farm. They're pretty ugly, and I don't want to build one. So as the night falls, we are going to turn our attention to the seas, and we're going to try and take out as many trident wielding drowned as we can find, which I hope is a fair amount. I don't know. This could take forever. Also, look at how beautiful it is behind us as it fades away. And my first thought is just to find ruins, and we will, you know, just sit and wait for drowned as they spawn in. And then I know rivers are also a good place to find drowned. So we've got a couple of places that we can look. I'm hoping that we can just find a fair few. I don't know how common it is for drowned to spawn. Oh, you know what? Before we do this, we should really get, like, I don't know, looting on this sword. Hold on, we should go back. I think we have a looting book, actually. So if we can get looting on this sword, that would be really nice, because then we'd at least guarantee a higher likelihood of the trident dropping. Oh, I love that tree. Literally from every angle, I love that tree. It's such a good tree. Hello, my good friends. All right, I think we've got books. Yeah, we got books in here. Do we have looting? Ooh, we don't have looting. Do any of you have looting? Do you have sharpness 5? You do, okay. I'm gonna take this up to our enchantment table and see if we can't just get lucky and have a looting 3 show up right as the first option. And then if not, we will... Oh, I forgot about that. Thank you, gift. If not, we will go and grab something. Yeah, no looting, and I really don't want to deal with fire aspect. So we are actually going to make a trip on over to the shopping district. We're going to buy ourselves a looting book so that we can get that on our sword and continue on our journey. Oh, I'm always so afraid I'm going to land on him. Which I think is a great plan. Also, let's maybe get our, our other things organized now. With everything sorted, we can now turn... no, you can't spawn here. We gotta light this up, apparently. Just leave a little torch on the corners of, of this. There we go. Don't want anything spawning there. As I was saying, with everything now in hand, we can go through the nether and start the long journey to the spawn. And actually, I don't... Hold on. We need some fireworks. Something I do need to figure out relatively soon as well is a safe, protective space for that, because everybody else it's all protected over here, but that's very, very exposed. Actually, speaking of portals, if we come over here, you'll see also right there, we actually have an end portal of our own now on this side, but obviously that doesn't take us all the way to the shopping district, which is, you know, where we're headed right now. So that's why we have to fly all the way instead of being able to take a cheeky little flight through the end. There it is. All right. I could probably go to one of the villagers and get a sharpness book, but there's a really, really cool shop right there. Yeah, that one right there. That inside has most any book that we could want. And that is what I am here to interact with. Oh, I've just... Okay, fix it. Okay, we're good. So, somewhere in here, we have... Looting 3, there it is. So we can grab that. Is there anything else we need to throw on this? Oh, we may as well throw more sweeping edge on this, right? Ah, there it is. Grab that. We'll get that up to sweeping edge 3. We'll get looting 3 on it. And then, is it already unbreaking? Oh, we may as well throw unbreaking on it while we're at it. And also the one tool that doesn't have mending is our diamond axe. So we're also gonna do that because I don't understand why this doesn't have mending on it just yet. So we will also go ahead and grab ourselves a mending book. There it is. Oh, we've got mending books. I'm not too worried about that. Okay. So please pay here 1 diamond for 2 books. Well, I grabbed 3. So we may as well grab a 4 so we can leave 2. So we'll grab ourselves, oh, I don't know, what do we got? Protection, unbreaking, protection, unbreaking. I mean, we could, is there a silk touch book? We could grab a silk touch book, yeah, may as well. We can put silk touch on the axe, there we go. And now we've broken that down into a nice pleasant 2 diamonds for 4 books. And with that done, I say we pop out of here, find ourselves the nearest anvil, which looks to be right here, and let's get this sword finally all suited up with everything it needs. Well, that is lovely. Also, I have the Better Clouds mod now, and I think they look so pretty, especially at like sunsets and sunrises, because they just light up. Oh, it's so pretty. So if you're wondering what that is the Better Clouds mod. But okay. With all of this in hand, I guess the one thing we could check is see if there's already a shop for tridents, but I doubt there is. let's go. We'll go back to our base. We'll go back to our base. So I suppose now that we're here, now starts the actual hunt for tridents and other scaries that want to hurt us. The nice thing is there's no one else on the server aside from a bot that's at the gold farm. So theoretically, I should have all of the mobs spawning near me. But we'll just have to wait and see. Now we've done a big loop and I still haven't actually seen any drowned. So maybe if we just sit around this ruin for a second, maybe some of the drowned will show up. Oh gosh, it's nighttime and I haven't slept in a while. Hold on. Well, that kind of defeats that. I was getting hopeful. I was like, it's nighttime. We'll have all the mobs start spawning. But nope. I forgot that I am a bad child who has not slept recently. Any drowned over here before I take a big old nap? Doesn't look like it. Okay, let's try this again. I just don't even know where to begin. You'd think they'd just be like swimming around and they'd be easy to find, but I am I'm starting to wonder if I am maybe just doing this wrong. And if perhaps it might just make sense to make the farm, which I've never done before. So that could be interesting, but we'll give this one last good try. And if we really can't find anything, then I suppose we're about to learn how to make a drowned trident farm, which I honestly, that could be really cool. Okay. I'm kind of hoping that maybe like some of these rivers as we're flying through will maybe have some spawn in. Because I wonder if maybe it's just a thing about like where we're at in the ocean. Maybe there's less spawning in coral reefs or something. I don't know. So I'm hoping that maybe getting ourselves out here a little ways might give us a little bit more. But probably not during the daytime, which is honestly probably why we are having so much trouble, is because we're trying to do all this in the day. You know what? Why not, right? Why not make ourselves a fun little trident farm for this? Well, why not? I think this sounds like a super fun idea. So I'm going to fly us on back to the base and we're going to see what we have. Look at that. There's two. Look at that. Was cool. One village, two village right next to each other. That's super cool. We're going to fly back to the base, see what blocks we already have to do this. And then I say we fly ourselves out a ways, but we'll, I guess, maybe set up a little bit of a industrial area for us to start working on our trident farm. Any drowned over here? Not that I can see anywhere. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I think this is going to be a much better way to spend our time than trying to, you know, look around and find ourselves any drowned or anything. Can we make it? Can we make it? Oh, barely. Nice. Okay, so I laid out some chests here with some of the stuff that we're going to need. So we got a bunch of things. All of these up to this bucket right here need to be filled with lava. So we actually have an empty shulker box we're going to fill with lava buckets. And then obviously we've got some hoppers and things for collection, building blocks, a ton of signs for the bottom where the drowned will go into a kill chamber, and then a ton of scaffolding also to help just get us around while we're doing this. But honestly, we'll probably be able to use our elytra, but I just made sure we had some scaffolding. We might need to get a little bit more though, because the plan that I found, which is by Trillums, I will tag that video down below, said that we'll need 137, and I've only got, what is this, 128 plus 5, so 133. So it might be worth getting one more, but we won't worry about that right this second. The thing that we are severely lacking on though, that it says, is dirt blocks. We don't have ourselves hardly any dirt blocks. But the nice thing is I've been helping Skye with a big project, and there's a bunch of dirt that I can go and grab. So I'm actually going to go grab a shulker of that, and that should tide us over for this project. So we're actually not looking bad there. The only thing we'd be missing then is a lily pad. And I'm not sure where to find a lily pad except for in a swamp. So we're going to have to do a little bit of exploring for a swamp. But then once we found it, we're good to go. So I'm going to fly over. I'm going to grab the dirt from Skye, and then we are going to go to the Nether and start filling up all of those lava buckets. All right, we've grabbed the dirt that we needed from Skye's. So now we're going to pop ourselves back into the Nether and go collect ourselves all of the lava, which I feel like is going to take quite a bit of time. So enjoy a brief lava collecting time. Oh my goodness. Hold on. We need to find a safe place to... Ah! There's so many ghasts. Okay, as I was saying, enjoy a brief lava collecting time lapse. Well, we've now collected most of our water buckets, I will say, very sadly, because I burned 4 of them. So we need to run back up. We'll make 4 more buckets, and we'll just grab lava from someplace in the overworld there. I feel so silly. I kind of didn't think about the fact that I'd keep filling the buckets when my inventory filled up. So we'll go get the other 4. And then I believe, other than the lily pad, we are ready to get this going. So for the both the lava and the lava buckets, we're going to fly on down into our mine, because you'll see, look at all that lava right there. We've got a crafting bench right here that I'm going to use to put all of this in for some more buckets. Now let's go fill up these last 4 that we need. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now we can drop these in with our other lava buckets. And we now have all of the lava that we need for this project. So that leaves us just trying to find that lily pad. And I think we're good from there. So let's head on back up to the top and we will start the search for a swamp. Now, I could be entirely wrong, but I remember I was flying through the desert at one point and I had seen a swamp. The problem is, I don't know if it was this desert or that desert. So I'm starting with the one that's the towers are just right there. Starting with the one that's closest, and I'm just gonna fly in this general direction, because I remember just like flying through where the desert was and ending up at a swamp. So I know there's one nearby. I just am not sure how close it actually is. Oh, it was very close. That's just over from where I had just said that. There's our lily pad, so we can grab one of these really quick. And then we can go find a place to get this put together. Now, the farm recommends finding a really big river biome spot, and right here in this, as you can see as I'm going to fly up and look around, in this kind of Badlands area, there's this massive section of river right here with all the space to get this built. So I think I'm going to get this set up here, and without further ado, we may as well get this farm put together. Well, the farm is done, and I'm just checking back in because I thought I was going to have to sit here for a lot longer waiting for these to fall in before I got a trident. But if we take a little turn around, we just got our first trident in here. Literally, I mean, look at this. We got 18 rotten flesh, a drowned head, 1 copper ingot, and a trident. And over here, just some rotten flesh. Like, that's how quickly we got one of these tridents. So that is awesome. We're gonna need a few more for the game that I am planning, but that is a really good sign that this works. And I do have to say, while this certainly isn't the most beautiful thing I've ever built, it's really, really quite the eyesore, but it is a really cool. I mean, I didn't even realize this was a thing you could do, having a mob spawner in the sky that was specifically for drowned. Like, this is really, really cool to me. So I'm really glad that we put this together and that we get to actually like use it for its purpose. So what I'm going to do now is sit and collect some more tridents, but then I suppose we'll go and collect some ender pearls. And if you watch Hermitcraft, or you've watched Hermitcraft for a while, you probably have an idea of the game that I'm starting to plan building. But we're going to grab some ender pearls and some moss and some building blocks and head on over to the gaming district. Now, a game I love watching other people play, and honestly really enjoy playing myself, is, as you might have guessed by now, golf. So what we are going to be doing here on the server is putting together a small golf course, and I'm thinking we're going to do 5 holes, which, if you know anything about golf, that's kind of a weird number for holes, but you'll understand when the project is all put together. But what we're going to need for that is a whole lot of ender pearls, a whole bunch of riptide tridents, and a lot of building blocks to put together a really nice golf course. So what we are going to do now is we are currently heading back to our towers, which should be in this general vicinity somewhere. And we're going to see if we can't get riptide on this trident. And if not, you know, we'll just get it as an enchanted book. But then we're going to head to the end, collect up a bunch of ender pearls, and then get ourselves to probably the shopping district to collect up a good bunch of moss. But actually, now that I'm saying that, I know we have this gift that I was looking at earlier has a bunch of moss in it as well. So we might actually have a good start. Yeah, we get at least a decent start with some moss, so I can at least show you guys the principle of the game. All right, channeling, unbreaking. I don't want any of those. So let's take a pop on down here and see if we happen to have riptide already. I doubt it, but I think it's worth checking. No riptide here. Okay, so let's start here at the trading hall. I doubt that there would be a channeling book. Oh, what do you know? Riptide right there. Riptide is what I meant, not channeling, but oh, and we've already, wow, okay. We've already been nice to that guy, so we actually get the cheaper price there. How many emeralds? That's not a lot of emeralds. I appreciate your payments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you also take iron? You do. Beautiful. Just go on down the line and get all of the trades. All right. 51 feels pretty good. We are gonna need a bookshelf to break, but I think they had, yeah, you got a bookshelf for me to break. Awesome. Let's break a bookshelf for some books. Beautiful. All right. Give me all the Riptide books, please. Thank you. And then we can grab our books from over here. We'll grab Unbreaking and Mending to throw on this one just so that we have a nice stocked up trident for us to use. And that's right here. Oh, beautiful. We can get them all on there. So now we've got a lovely little trident that we can use to fling ourselves into the air in our game of golf. And if you're wondering why we need to fling ourselves into the air, I promise that will be explained shortly. All right, with our trident sorted out, the next thing we need to do is head to the shopping district and buy out as much moss as we can. I don't want to buy like a crazy amount, but I mean, well, that's a lie. I want an absolutely insane amount of moss. So we need to go and buy it all out. And I'm not honestly sure where. It's probably sold here. Let's drop in here. Okay, we got azaleas, we got moss carpet, moss blocks. 2 diamonds for 4 stacks is an incredible price. I will absolutely do that. Thank you. Cool. All right. Well, now we've got a ton of moss, and actually I even bought a little bit more. So we've got 4 full shulker boxes right now of moss blocks, plus some that we can use for our game, and I'm sure we're going to be back for decorative blocks and things. But to whoever's moss shop this is, thank you. I have left my payments in the boxes. So there you go. So with our moss in hand, let's head on over to the gaming district. Whoa, what have I done? Whoa, we're in slow motion. We're like in zoom, super zoom. What have I done? Because we went through the portal in zoom? What is going on here? What is this? There we go. I don't know what just happened there. Apparently, when you go through a portal in zoom mode, it leaves you locked into the zoom. Okay. Whoa. With that figured out, let's jump on into the gaming district, which is somewhere down this way. Gaming district, yeah. Let's go. Now, we are gonna need a lot of space for this, but I'm thinking if we just build it out, I don't know, maybe somewhere past the racetrack or maybe off this way. I don't know. I'm trying to think of ways that we can incorporate it that, like, when you're doing the elytra flight, you can go and you can like find the course. And honestly, if this isn't claimed, this might be the perfect spot down here. This would be so cool. Okay, well, let me go ahead and explain how the game will work. And then this might be where we get this all set up. This is incredibly cool. So for those that don't know how golf works in Minecraft, there are actually multiple different ways that it can work. But my favorite way is by using a trident. And typically the player is the golf ball. So you almost always will use an ender pearl or something to transport yourself as the ball. But the reason that people use the Riptide trident is because you can go ahead and fling yourself up into the air and then throw an ender pearl much farther than you'd be able to just standing on your own. And so imagine if I had set a hole here or something, I could have just shot right toward that. And, you know, I would have thrown that much farther than if I was, you know, we'll hop back over here so I can show you what it would look like if I just threw it on my own. But I could throw that much, much farther than I can just with my bare hand. So we'll see where this lands. So we landed right here, but when we threw it with the Riptide, we landed over here. So you see, it just gives you that little extra boost in the throw that really helps you out when playing a game all about distance throws like golf is. So what we need to do for this course is build, obviously, multiple different holes. And I think I'm going to build 5 that will spell out the letters Lucid. So that's my idea for this. And that way, when people are looking at the gaming district from a map, they'll have LUCID right on top that they can look at. But what we'll need for that for each hole is a tee box that obviously includes water so that we can use Riptide tridents to get the ender pearls up into the air and farther than they would normally. And then we'll kind of design different barriers and things along the way that make it more challenging for the players. And honestly, if we're building it down here, I think there's already more than enough stuff in the way for a really good, fun game. So I'm thinking, just to get an idea of what this might or might not be able to look like, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to grab some moss right from this, build a little fake flag over here, and pretend that this is a hole for our game. Whoa. Is there an abandoned mineshaft over here? We might need to check in on this. Maybe somebody has claimed this, but we'll, no, it's an abandoned mineshaft. That makes this almost cooler. So we'll pretend that the first hole is, I don't know, right on top of this. So the goal is to get ourselves to right here. And typically you would drop yourself into a little hole at the base of that, and that's how you'd know that you made it. So we'll just do this, and that'll act as our fake first hole. So now what we get to do is fly back on over here to this water. We're pretending that this is our tee box. And from here, you can just make out the top of that moss right over there. So we'll come over here, like I was saying. We'll charge up the Riptide, throw ourselves into the air, and then throw that pearl as far as we can. And that really wasn't that good of a throw, all things considered. You see, now we've got ourselves close. And then give ourselves another throw, maybe with a little bit better trajectory. And now look, we're just past the hole, and do that. And there we go. Oh, wow, I missed it. Oh my gosh. Well, I guess if this was the hole, we would have made that. But there you go. So that would be how people would play this game, is kind of working their way to a hole like that. So obviously it's going to take a bunch of time to put together, but I think when it's done, we could have something that's really, really cool for this game. And also it gives us a good way to use all of the ender pearls we have from our enderman farm that we use for XP and things. So I think all around, this is just going to be such a fun thing. But that is a job for another day. I am going to head back to the drowned farm and try and collect ourselves a few more tridents before I get started on this build. So I'm going to wrap it up here, but thank you as always so much for watching. If you're new or find yourself coming back, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here. We are so very close to 1,000 subscribers, but regardless, thanks as always for watching. Take care, and I am going to try not to fall. We'll see you very, very soon.